What if the single greatest advantage you could have isn't something you're born with, but something you do every single day? Have you ever watched someone with incredible talent and felt a quiet despair, believing you could never catch up because you don't have their natural gift? But what if that's the wrong thing to focus on entirely? There is a force more powerful than any innate ability. A quiet, relentless engine that builds empires, crafts masterpieces, and forges legacies. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't get applause at the start. But in the long run, it is unbeatable. This is the story of a dreamer who learned that lesson from an unlikely teacher. In a quiet coastal town lived a young man named Leo. His passion was painting. He could see breathtaking seascapes and vibrant portraits in his mind. He felt the urge to create so intensely it was almost a physical ache. But there was a gap, a wide, frustrating canyon, between the vision in his soul and the reality of his blank canvases. Leo's efforts were bursts of intense, scattered energy. One week, he would paint for 10 hours straight, only to collapse, exhausted, and not touch a brush for a month. He'd start a grand triptych, lose momentum, and abandon it for a new idea. His studio became a graveyard of half-finished dreams, covered in a fine layer of dust and regret. He had the heart of an artist, but the discipline of a weather vane, spinning with every wind of inspiration or doubt. One evening, drowning in frustration, Leo walked to the old docks. There, in a weathered shed filled with a salty air, he saw an elderly shipwright named Elias. Elias was working on a massive, skeletal hull of a fishing boat. He wasn't using power tools, just a simple hand plane, slowly shaving long, curling ribbons of wood from a keel. Intrigued, Leo watched. The motion was rhythmic, patient. "Sir," Leo finally asked, "how long does it take to build a boat like this with just hand tools?" Elias didn't stop his steady scraping. "About 2 years. A little each day." Leo was astounded. 2 years? Doesn't it feel hopeless? Such a small tool against so much wood. Elias paused, holding up the plane. "This tool doesn't build the boat. Time does. This," he said, resuming the smooth, consistent stroke, "is just how I introduce myself to the wood every single day. One shaving at a time. The wood doesn't care about my strength today. It responds only to my presence tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. The work doesn't care about your intensity today, only your presence tomorrow." The words landed in Leo's heart with the weight of truth. He had been trying to attack his dreams with grand, heroic efforts, when what they required was a quiet, daily conversation. That night, he made a simple, almost humble pact with himself. He would not paint a masterpiece. He would simply show up. He would face the canvas for 1 hour, every single day. No matter what. Even if he only painted a single stroke. Even if he just mixed colors. His only job was to be present. The first week felt revolutionary. The second week, resistance arrived. There were days he was tired. Days he felt uninspired, staring at the canvas with a hollow feeling. But he remembered the shipwright's steady hand. He remembered that the wood didn't judge a single day's shaving. It yielded to the accumulation of them. So he showed up. On the uninspired days, he sketched. On the tired days, he just cleaned his brushes and organized his paints. But he was there. The ritual itself became the catalyst. Days knitted together into weeks. Weeks into months. A portfolio grew without him even realizing it. A series of small seascapes. Studies of light on water. Then, one day, he looked at a canvas and realized he was no longer trying to force a masterpiece. He was simply in a dialogue with his craft, and the masterpiece was emerging on its own terms. He submitted his work to a local gallery. Rejections came. The old voice of doubt whispered. But Leo had a new muscle now, the muscle of consistency. Rejection was just 1 day's shaving. He kept showing up. He kept painting. 2 years from that first talk with Elias, Leo held his first solo exhibition. The show was titled Tides, a testament not to sudden inspiration, but to the relentless, daily rhythm that shapes shores and souls. Visitors were moved by the depth and cohesion of the work. They saw the talent, but they felt the journey. If this story speaks to you, understand this: your talent is a seed. But consistency is the soil, the water, the daily sun. Without it, the most brilliant seed will wither unseen. You are not falling behind. You are not lacking. You may simply be misplacing your faith in bursts instead of bridges. Don't try to carve the entire sculpture today. Just make contact with the stone. If this message steadied your resolve, please like this video. It helps us continue to create content that matters. And for more stories that bring calm and clarity to your journey, subscribe to the Calm Tales. Remember, the most powerful force in your life isn't what you do in a day, but what you do daily.